Bet on me, bet on me, bet on me, bet on me, bet on me.
So I didn't have cable. So the fact that there was a brand split helped because it wasn't like if I missed Raw, I didn't miss shit because what happened on Raw didn't affect the show I watched. Because of that, I fuck with the brand split because of that. Because if there was a brand split, I would have been a confused fan when I started to really get heavy into it. I was into wrestling for that because I had the video games, like I had No Mercy on 54. I had the action figures. My older cousins like wrestling. I had a few tapes. I had Best of Raw, WWF Best of Raw Volume 1 on VHS tapes. I don't know if there's anybody that's listening that has that tape or seen it. It's very obscure, but I remember having it. Um, but as far as watching it every week, that didn't start until like 04 when I watched it on UPN. But yeah, that brings memories. Just that whole channel. We're gonna talk about UPN, period, not just SmackDown. That was just greatness all around.
I feel like not enough people know about UPN right there, man.
But so I watched. So what was I getting at? Oh yeah. So my network. What's funny about that is, what a lot of people. I still remember. There was like all of 08, I watched no wrestling because for some reason my antenna just stopped. When SmackDown moved from UPN to CW, that moved in Mobile, that moved from channel 44 to 55. I lived on the Alabama, Mississippi state line in the sticks. It was really hard to get 44. It was almost impossible to get 55. We would be outside. We had like a big antenna, and my brother would be like twisting. We would take turns, and the other would say it was clear. And I remember for a year we did that with channel 55. We watched the CW era, but by 08 it was just impossible. After like 2 or 3 weeks we gave up. We didn't watch no wrestling. But I remember in 09 when TV went all digital, when analog, you needed it. If you didn't have a flat screen TV, everybody that still had the big box looking TVs, you needed one of them. I know y'all remember the converter boxes.
Yes.
But we needed a converter box. Guess what the converter box had? Channel 35.1 was my network. I was so excited. I went a whole year without wrestling. I was so excited to have SmackDown. I was like, fuck, I don't need Raw, whatever. I hate that I missed it, but I got SmackDown. And let me tell you something. I feel bad for whoever missed that era. It's not 02, 03 level good. I go back and forth on if it's 2016, 2017 good. Because I love that era of SmackDown. But it's up there. Like that era, like the straight edge society shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What else happened? Straight edge society happened. The Undertaker had a world title reign during that time.
He was in his prime. Basically.
Yeah, ironically, Undertaker's prime was when he was in his 40s.
Yeah, he was in his prime.
Like he's a weird one. That was one of his best matches was. But Jericho and Taker had a match on SmackDown. I think it's the only time they ever wrestled on WWE TV.
Really?
Yeah. It was. I mean, that's a great time.
Wow.
Dolph Ziggler, some of his best work was during that era. But anyway, well, how do we get into this?
Drew appeared around that time, right?
Drew, oh my God, the party is over. Yeah, he was like, he's with our truth. That's how he started. Yeah.
Okay.
That happened during the My Network era.
See, I missed out on all that right there.
But hey, I missed out on a shitload of Raw, so I guess we're
not even. See, for me, I started watching wrestling. I want to say back in 2002. It was
you got a couple years on me.
Yeah, it was a couple years.
Ruthless aggression, babies.
It was an episode where I believe it was a returning Triple H.
Oh, the Garden.
He had like
the Garden. I seen that.
All jean joint on and everything.
That was your first episode.
That was like my first episode, dog. That was the first one, yeah. So like that right there, I can remember that vividly. I've been basically.
Was that your first moment you saw, or that was the first episode?
I
Did you turn on the
remember.
channel when that
I
was
know.
going on?
I know. I remember that. I know that. I remember Triple H coming back, and that was like I think that was had to been like the first episode I ever watched.
And you watched every week since?
Basically, I probably missed some weeks or so, probably here and there.
After that, we all have.
I've basically been watching it ever since. I was a Raw guy. I was a SmackDown guy too. Eventually, I found SmackDown later on, of course, and then
Yeah, they promote.
yeah, because that's Then I end up finding out by guys like Batista, Randy Orton, and later on John Cena, and I've been hooked ever since.
You know what's crazy? This is how like ill shit is. And I know like anybody that wasn't around at the time, it'd be hard to imagine. But when you only watch one show and you don't know what the fuck is going on Mondays, it's weird draft happens. Cause like I remember when we lost John Cena, the 05 lottery. I remember praying like I don't want to lose anybody. I really don't want to lose John Cena. Please don't lose John Cena. Lost. I remember this is before. I mean, I don't think we had internet at the time. But it was that Thursday night I found out through the video package that Cena was gone. And I remember we got Chris Benoit. I started watching when Benoit was on Raw, so I didn't know who he was. But I remember when it's funny now thinking about it, but I remember Batista was the last draft pick.
Yeah.
And I remember he was the world heavyweight champion. I didn't know who the fuck he was. Like this man main evented WrestleMania that year, had the feud of the year, and I'm having to ask my brother, who like I think watched Raw at his dad's a few times.
Yeah.
Hey, good? Like, yeah, he's pretty good. He's the world heavyweight champion. Like, yeah, he's pretty damn good. I didn't know what the fuck he was.
Wow.
No idea.
Wow.
I remember them showing the replay one night of Triple H turning on Randy Orton.
Oh yes.
Which is a legendary moment. And I remember going, okay. Who the fuck are these guys? I'm trying to watch Booker T.
Booker T. Yeah.
Where's Ray and Eddie at?
Man.
That's how much of a SmackDown guy. So when that 05 rivalry happened, the Raw, that's like when it got watered down afterwards. But 05, that Raw and SmackDown rivalry felt real as shit. Maybe us being young made it feel that way.
Yeah.
But I remember, man, that felt personal. I felt like when Edge came to SmackDown and fucked with, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Ray, who like fucking with Ray of all people. I remember just being so pissed. I remember like I remember being like, I hope we just go and kick Raw's ass. It's like they're the same company, bro. It ain't that big a deal.
That is wild.
But you're a kid,
Yeah.